Hey guys, it's Elizabeth. Welcome back to my channel. If you are on this manifestation journey and things aren't changing, or it's not changing as fast as you would like to see, and you're doing all the things, you're visualizing, you're journaling, maybe you've even tried the 2-cup method or something like that, but nothing shifts and you can't see any change in your life, I want you to know that you're not doing it wrong, but you're looking at it in the wrong way. What's happening is you're trying to change your reality, but what you really need to change is your reflection. The principle behind manifestation is that whatever is going on inside you, the thoughts, the beliefs about yourself, your world, the universe, how the world works, and everything that you're feeling, your emotions, and everything that makes you who you are is what is reflected in your reality, the world around you, the physical things that show up in your life. And what happens is when you start manifesting something different, you are asking your world to reflect something different than what is going on inside. And so the work that we need to do as manifestors is to start to shift what's happening in our inner world. The thing is, where it gets a little bit sticky is whatever is happening inside you, there is a time delay. So as you start shifting it, you're still going to see that same old reality reflected. And it takes a little bit of time for that mirror, if you will, to catch up. And so your job then is to stay the course. Stay the course and allow that time delay, that gap, to catch up. That's not always an easy thing, but I'm going to share with you exactly what you need to do step by step to shift that mirror, to shift what's happening on the inside, to allow your world to reflect what it is you're manifesting. When I first realized that there is a thing called manifestation, I was so excited. I was gung-ho, reading all the things, watching YouTube videos, trying to figure out the easiest, best, and fastest way to do it. Well, of course, you know how that story ended. It was frustrating. It was hard. It didn't go as planned. But when I look back, I started to deconstruct what happened. And I started to get better and better throughout all the different manifestations that got me where I am today. But I want to talk a little bit about what happened in that first manifestation. My goal was to become intuitive. I was watching and listening to this online psychic radio show, and these two ladies were talking to people who were calling in, and they knew all this stuff about these people, and it was fascinating. There were things that a regular person just could not know about someone else, yet these two ladies knew, it seemed like, everything about them. Like, why can't I do that? How do you develop this skill? At the time, I was in a bad relationship. Things were really hard in my life. It seemed like I was never in the right place at the right time. And I had no connection with my intuition. Absolutely none. Now, I know that's not true. Everybody is intuitive, but you have to know how to connect. And at that point in my life, I did not know how to connect. And I was gung-ho to learn how to do it. So I was manifesting and visualizing and coming into these same traps. But eventually I did get there, and I would say I am very intuitive now. In fact, I teach intuition and how the method I came up with on this channel. But what happened was, when I look back, I became that intuitive because what happened inside of me started to change. I was putting myself in circles with other intuitives. I was joining these Facebook groups. I was being invited to sit with other readers, and it allowed me to start shifting my beliefs about myself, the story I was telling myself, my thoughts, my emotions, all of those things on the inside started to change. And actually, I was invited to this development circle. It was actually a mediumship development circle, which at the time I wasn't even interested in connecting with spirits. And I was like, okay, I'll join. And the person leading the group specifically called on me and asked me to do this reading. And that's when it like finally clicked for me. I was able to get the intuitive information about this person. And that's when the mirror caught up. So I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do to shift. Number one is become completely clear about what it is that you want to manifest. When it's wishy-washy, it won't work. When you're on the fence, do I actually want that car, or do I prefer this car, or with the color and all of those things, when you are wishy-washy, it will not happen because your inner world cannot catch up for that because you don't even know what you want. So number one, become extremely clear. And here's where I journal. I write down all the possibilities and I start to narrow it down and get very, very specific. So in the case when I was manifesting my partner, my soulmate, I had to understand what I wanted in that person. What did I want that person to be like? What were those characteristics, the emotions, the thoughts, the way the person operated, how they showed up in the world? And you get very, very clear. And you're getting feedback all the time in your life about what you don't want, right? And that gives you a lot of information because you experience all those things you don't want, which allows you to get very clear. Number two is understanding who you are right now. What are those beliefs inside of me, my inner world, as it relates to what I'm going to manifest or what I'm working on, my intention, and get very clear on that. So you know, this is my end goal, and this is where I'm at right now. And then you move to step 3 where you do a gap analysis. So what needs to change to get me from here to there? And again, this is a really good journaling opportunity. And I know a lot of people don't like to do that, but when you put the work in at the beginning, I promise you it will pay off in the end. The 4th step is to ask yourself, if I had this manifestation, what would I be doing? What would I be believing? What would this version be doing in the moment? And here is where your intuition is really powerful. If you aren't using your intuition every step of the way, you're missing out. You could be leveling up by connecting with yourself and understanding what are those high ticket leverage things I could be doing to have my manifestation. And then number 5 is developing what Vidine Zealand from Reality Transurfing calls a slide. This is a 3 to 5 second short scene of you having your end result, which leads into the last piece here, which is presence. If you don't become present during your day, during the life you're living, you're not going to manifest. You cannot manifest from the past or the future. And if you're not present, you are either living in the past or the future. Right now is the current moment, the only thing there is. And all of the manifestation power is right here. So the power lies in becoming present and then snapping into your visualization. And the way that I have found works the best for me to become present is having this hourly chime. It's an app I download on my phone, and every single hour on the hour it says 9 a.m., 10 a.m. And so when that goes off, I become present. I say, I see myself, I see my reality. I can activate the inner observers, kind of see what's going on around me, and I lock in what I want. That's where you have the power to create that manifestation. Now, also, it's good to visualize that scene that you've created as you're going to bed. That's based on Neville Goddard's technique, and that works wonders. But you have to become present first. And so these are the steps that I used. And I also have a method where you use a physical mirror to help shift that reflection. If you want that, I'll post a link in the comments, and you can get that for free and start using it to see real results in your life. And if you haven't caught my video on intuition and manifestation, I think you'd enjoy that. You can catch that here. I hope you guys are doing well, and I'll catch you next time.